Hey Frag fam, Corbin here again from Northwest Scent. Today I'm going to be bringing you 5 dressed up, classy smelling fragrances. So these are fragrances that you're going to wear if you're going to any kind of formal event, whether it be a wedding or maybe a birthday that's just really dressed up. Anything that you can think of where you need something to stand out and smell professional and very classy, this is the video for you. So if that sounds interesting to you guys, please stay tuned. But first, let's roll that intro. All right, welcome back. So before we get into the list of 5 fragrances, I do have an honorable mention, and you will see why it is an honorable mention here in a second. It's from Fragrance 1, and it's called Black Tie. So I did an initial impressions video on this, and I can put that somewhere above if you guys want to check it out. In all, I do think it is actually a really good fragrance. I think it is quite phenomenal. However, the price is just extremely high. I cannot justify this fragrance for the price, especially just because it is from a YouTuber's brand and it is such a new brand. They haven't really established themselves yet to justify those kinds of pricing. Not to mention that the presentation on this isn't really that standout. So that's definitely a detractor for this fragrance. But as far as the scent itself, it is a really good dressed up fragrance. This thing has a very heavy leather touch to it from the Gaiac wood. You also get some mandarin orange and then orange oil along with some lemon at the top. So you get this really kind of photorealistic orange rind kind of smell that's very citrusy. You also have some cardamom in here, which makes it a little bit sweet and spicy. It is a fairly simple fragrance, but the quality is bar none here. I think it does smell fairly high quality. Again, I cannot justify the price, and that's what's keeping me from putting it into the actual list of 5 fragrances. So again, at the number 6 spot, or I should say the honorable mention spot, that was Fragrance 1's Black Tie. So now moving into the actual list of 5 fragrances, at the number 5 spot, this is actually a fragrance from another YouTuber, although I think this one is priced amazingly and the scent is just as good. It's from Naughton and Wilson, and it's called Gravitas Parfum. So this fragrance coming in at $120 US for this 100 milliliter size. I think this is amazing bang for your buck right here. It is an extrait de parfum, so it's very oily. It lasts a long time. I get decent projection from this fragrance too. And as far as how it smells, this is a modern barbershop or aromatic fougere fragrance. So it has lavender and oak moss, which is very traditional for this style of fragrance. It also has cardamom rather than tonka bean, but still kind of a sweet spiciness from that. So as far as the note breakdown, it is fairly traditional. However, this does smell quite modern. They added a really heavy and prominent vanilla note, makes it very sweet and a little bit creamy. You also get some bergamot and then mandarin orange at the top, which just adds a nice citrusiness to it. And I think the vanilla and those citruses blend really nicely and give it kind of a sweet lemon smell. I wouldn't say like a lemon meringue pie or anything like that, like some other fragrances kind of come off, but it's kind of hinting at that. It's kind of going in that direction a little bit. This is just so appealing. If you love an aromatic fougere, you will absolutely love this fragrance. And honestly, if you don't like aromatic fougere fragrances, you still might like this because it is modern enough and doesn't smell like old grandpa or anything like that, you know. Very modern, very elegant, and again, amazingly priced. And of course, this is amazing for being dressed up. I think honestly, that's the type of wear that this fragrance is meant for. It does smell very professional, elegant, and gentlemanly. So at the number 5 spot, that was Naughton and Wilson's Gravitas Parfum. So next at the number 4 spot, we have a designer fragrance. This one is priced extremely fairly, yet it does smell quite high quality and it's perfect for dressed up wear. It's from Cartier and it's called Pasha de Cartier Parfum. So I've talked about this fragrance numerous times. I actually did an initial impressions of this fragrance on this channel way back when, but this is a phenomenal, just kind of sweet, spicy, very classy fragrance. This actually kind of smells similar to Mugler's Pure Tonka to me. However, it is a little bit different at the same time, much more dressed up and a lot less sweet. But if you've smelled that fragrance, you might kind of have an idea of how this one comes across. This is not necessarily an aromatic fougere like the original, the Eau de Toilette version of this fragrance, but it kind of hints at that. You get some balsam fir in here. There's also labdanum. There's even a liquor note, which just makes this very elegant and dressed up smelling. You also have some sandalwood and tonka bean, so a little bit of a creaminess and very powdery and sweet. So this is on the sweeter end of, I would say, like formal dressed up fragrances, or like a fragrance you want to wear for a dressed up or formal occasion, but I think it still works amazingly. Very unique smelling, and it's just a great well-rounded fragrance for a very good price. If you're on a budget, I would say that this is the one that I would definitely recommend you guys try. You can find it on discounters for the 100 milliliter size for about $50 to maybe $65, $70, somewhere in there. So amazing bang for your buck with this fragrance. Very elegant, dressed up smelling, perfect for those types of occasions. So again, at the number 4 spot, that was Pacha de Cartier Parfum. So next at the number 3 spot, we have a fragrance that I would say is probably the most versatile on this list, in the sense that you can wear it the most often. However, it does still definitely have an elegance to it and a classiness. I would say it is more tailored for that dressed up wear. It's from Zaharoff, and it's called Signature Noir. So I talked about this fragrance yesterday in that Zaharoff video that I made. This is a great flanker and a great addition to the house. It is called Signature Noir, noir meaning black in French, so you would maybe think this is darker. I actually think this is a brighter fragrance than the original. They've basically taken that original DNA with the lavender, the oud, the incense, the myrrh, the pear, and they've removed that lavender, so you don't have that aromatic fougere touch in this. They've actually added citruses, and it does smell definitely brighter and more citrusy from the top. It also has some balsam fir, so at least for me, I get a little bit more of a woodiness and kind of a green touch to this fragrance, but the DNA is definitely here, and if you've smelled the original Signature Pour Homme, you will immediately be reminded of that fragrance in this one. They're definitely flankers, you can tell by the smell. This has that DNA in it. But I think it is just an elegant, dressy fragrance, especially if you want something, again, more versatile that you can wear more often, but maybe you don't like that, maybe you don't like lavender or like aromatic fougere or something like that. You would definitely want to lean towards this one rather than the original Signature Pour Homme. So again, at the number 3 spot, a great, well-rounded, elegant fragrance. It was Zaharoff Signature Noir. So next at the number 2 spot, this is a great fragrance for warmer weather. So maybe if you're in a little bit more of a humid climate or like a tropical setting, I think this is a perfect dressed up fragrance for that. It's from Creed, and it's called Royal Mayfair. So this may be a Creed fragrance, which is a very popular house, but this is not a popular Creed fragrance at all. I don't see anybody mention this, very rarely if they do. This is a great fragrance. I've had this thing for well over a year now. It was actually one of the first Creeds I got, and I absolutely love this fragrance, and it actually kind of hurts me that more people don't talk about it, because I think it is very elegant, very classy, but not only that, it's very different smelling. There's nothing else out there that smells like it, except for that older Creed, which I'm blanking on the name, but this is based on a older Creed fragrance that they discontinued. But outside of that, there's nothing else that smells like Royal Mayfair. So this fragrance has notes of pine tree, gin, lime, eucalyptus, and then rose, among a couple other fragrance notes. So it comes across green, woody, but not dark and heavy. It's a very kind of light, uplifting fragrance in the style of many Creed fragrances. You get that lime and that gin, so you kind of get like a boozy drink kind of vibe from it. But the standout note here is the eucalyptus, which comes across, it's really hard to describe it. It's kind of medicinal, a little bit icy. I wouldn't say minty, because this doesn't smell minty, but it kind of has that same effect that mint may have, where you kind of get like a refreshing effect from it, kind of that icy, cooling feeling. And like I said, medicinal. So you may be off-put by the medicinal note. I think some people are, but I think it smells fantastic. And actually, when I do smell this fragrance, it actually puts me in a mindset, like for example, like being in Hawaii. I instantly think of Hawaii when I smell this fragrance, and honestly, I do not know why. But again, I think this is perfect for warmer weather, maybe humid, more humid climates, tropical locations, for like an outdoor dressy setting. So like a luau, for example, I think this would be a perfect fragrance for that. A unique, dressed up, elegant fragrance from Creed. Again, that was Creed Royal Mayfair. And finally, at the number 1 spot, we have a fragrance that is tailored for dressed up wear. It's from Yves Saint Laurent, and it's called Tuxedo. So this fragrance, personally, I've never tried anything that smells like it. I've heard that Rocha's Mustache does smell similar to this. Again, I've not tried that one, so I cannot vouch for that. But from what I've tried and from what I own, this thing is very unique. It has notes of violet leaf, you got coriander, bergamot, rose, ambergris, patchouli, vanilla, among a few other fragrance notes. And this thing, it's very, very sweet. So if you do not like sweet fragrances, I would stay away from this one. The vanilla and the patchouli are definitely very dominant here, and the patchouli in this case does not come across dirty or leafy. It is more on the sweeter, kind of richer side. Obviously, like I said, that vanilla, it's very sweet here. Not a creamy vanilla, but just extremely sweet. But what's really dominant here as well is that violet leaf and then that rose. So this is a men's floral fragrance. In this case, the rose is quite heavy and jammy, but I don't think it does smell feminine. But if you do not like rose fragrances, you probably will not like this one just because it is very, very prominent. I'm actually not a huge fan of rose myself, but I do still enjoy this fragrance quite a bit. I just think it's done right. And like I said, it's got that violet leaf, which does come across very faintly petrol-y, but not in a dominant role at all. This doesn't smell anything close to the amount of violet leaf that is in Dior Fahrenheit. And then you do get that bergamot a little bit, just adds a kind of brightness to this in a way. Doesn't come across citrusy or anything like that, but I think it makes this just more wearable. A very elegant fragrance. And you know, it's like I said, it's basically tailored for those types of situations. I couldn't see somebody just rocking this casually. I don't even think it would work in the office very well, just because it is very loud and it is very sweet, but it does have that elegance to it. So if you want something reserved strictly for black tie events, you know, stuff where you're gonna wear a tuxedo, hence the name, I think this is the fragrance to do it. So again, at the #1 spot, that was Yves Saint Laurent's Tuxedo. Well, there you go. Those are 5 dressed up, classy smelling fragrances. These are perfect for anything formal where you just need to stand out and smell very professional, but appealing at the same time. If you guys enjoyed this video, I would really appreciate dropping a like just to show your support, and then that way more people can see my videos on YouTube. Additionally, if you want to write that comment down below, or maybe just let me know some new video ideas and topics, that would be great too. And since you're down there doing all that stuff, if you have not already, if you could subscribe and hit the bell notification, that would be amazing. That way you stay up to date on new videos whenever they get released going forward. But with all that out of the way, that's all I really have for you guys today. So I hope you have a good one. Stay healthy, stay wealthy, and smell great.